Hello, my beautiful twin flame community, twin souls, divine connections, mirrored souls, whatever you want to call yourselves. I'm glad you're here. So I'm just going to get going into my pre-shuffle to see what's up for this week. I don't know. It's so weird, you know, like when I talk to the other divine feminines I'm connected to and clients, and I feel the tower lurking. I feel it. The tower is lurking, and I just don't know. And I feel like it's more for the divine masculines, but anyways, this is a general reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest. Some of it might be for you, some of it might be for someone else. Who knows, right? Ooh. Okay, oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. Look at that, you guys. We'll get into that in just a quick second here. If you are watching the preview, okay, or if you're watching the full thing, thank you, because you're a patron. Just kidding. I do a full, I'm going to do the full one for the Twin Flame Collective, but if you're divine masculine or divine feminine, and you watch the other ones, I have a specific reading for those on my patron account. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just gonna I'm totally like out of it right now. I'm just letting you know. So it should be a good channel day. Ooh, okay. Oops. That one. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. Lots of page energy. Okay, so and very, very interesting. Sort of not wanting to start from scratch, but kind of having to. Right? Parts of those bricks in your faulty, you know, any brick that was faulty in your foundation has been coming down. So kind of a lot of different energies around that. Okay. In starting out. Ooh, boy. Okay. All over the place. Okay, so we'll get to those. Actually, I'm gonna put these over here because they're gonna be part of the after. Those of you that are watching, you can find me on Instagram and YouTube. I don't know if you're watching on YouTube or Instagram. If this helps you, please like, comment, and or share. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place with this right now, and I'm a little okay with that because that's just where the energy's at right now. Okay, so starting off right away, we have the Ace of Wands and the Emperor. All right, I feel like, and we'll kind of get to this. Dang, yep. Oh yeah, see, it keeps showing up. It's like it keeps lurking. All right, we have some lurking, yep, in the shadows, but it's bringing us closer to union. Yes, right, it's bringing us out of this. Oh, I love it. Okay, Ace of Wands. So I feel this is, I feel the divine masculine collective. Okay, I feel like they've been in this murky water, and it could be that we're heading into Sagittarius season. I always picture Sagittarius season as like Scorpio is like in the mud and just deep and really trudging deeply through stuff, and then we rise like a phoenix into Sagittarius energy. Okay, so bear with me, but I feel like the divine masculines have been deep in the mud for a really long time, and I feel like that's shifting because even though this is for the whole collective, it's to understand that when the divine masculine is deep in mud, the divine feminine is also feeling that on some level. Okay, so know, divine feminines, that the stuff you've been going through has been helping both of you. Okay, so this is very fascinating to me because we have the moon, right? The moon is fear, imagining things are much worse than they are. We have the high priestess, right? And the hermit. And I love that this combination, because it's almost like the whispers of fear or the shouts of fear are being over, I can't think of the right word, but it's like they're being the whispers of your inner voice, okay, from deep within you, okay, that's calling you from within, is louder than your fears. I don't know, maybe that'll come to me, but we have the tower. We have this tower coming. It's sneaking in. I talked about that when I was pre-shuffling. Just, it's sneaking in, but it's getting us closer to union, but it's not going to be obvious. Like, we're not going to see it behind the curtain, illusion, hidden, going with, it's almost like we're being guided to constantly go within and really tune into that inner voice to get through this, because we're not going to see stuff no matter how much we want to. It's just surrendering to the fact that the tower is going to keep coming, because it has in some ways for the Divine Feminine Collective, and not, sometimes it's not big major ways. Sometimes it's just like little things that need to change, and that, like, you know, an example with me needing to take a break and step back from the validation that I was looking for outside myself, right, in regards to my work. Sometimes it's stuff like that. It feels awful. It feels like a big moment, but it's not something that's actually tearing your life down. It's just something that's getting you to come back home to yourself. So I really love that Spirit said, listen, you've been working so hard with your inner voice, and the masculines have too. This isn't just Divine Feminines. This is both counterparts, right? Everything's working from the inside out to drown out those fears a little bit. And it's not to shut the fears up or to bury them. It's so that they don't have a bigger say than what's for your greatest and highest good. All right. It's almost like you can see them a little bit clearer. You can see them better when your inner voice is guiding that navigation. Very, very cool. I do see a lot of unions coming, you guys. They're going to be in steps or in phases. It's not going to be, let's run away and get married. There might be some that do that. Okay. I'm not going to judge. There's no judgment here. Whatever your path is, your path is. You will kind of feel it. But I don't think you'll know. I don't think any of us will know exactly what's going to happen. I think it's just going to be like, bam, it's here. And then we're like, okay, let's roll with this. So what I loved about, and I talked about this a bit, we have the page. All right. So we have somebody who's like, I love the expression on their faces. Okay. Because there's a little bit of a childish naivete, being a little bit naive, but in a good way. Sort of like, because I feel sometimes, especially being older souls and wiser souls, we think we know all the answers. We think we know everything. We don't really take that childlike look at things and just allow the spontaneity and the happiness and the joy of discovery to take place in our lives. And I think we're being pushed into that place of being like, okay, most of what I thought was true is not necessarily true. So what is true? Maybe we need to discover that for ourselves, right? And just kind of being able to play with it and create that and sort of, it's interesting. He's like flipping a coin on where he wants to go, because he's trusting. He's not just trusting himself that no matter where he goes or how he goes about this, he's going to be okay, right? It doesn't matter like how much paint or what kind of paints she's using or whatever. She's just putting paintbrush to canvas. There's just this energy of complete trust of, I'm just going to do. I'm not going to overanalyze. I'm not going to think. I'm not going to think I have to have all the answers. I'm not going to think I have to know all the answers. I'm just going to do. And I really feel that we're being pushed in that energy of like, you know what? I don't know everything. And I am ready to discover what I don't know, because there's fun in that, and there's joy in that, and there's excitement in that. And we as a collective haven't felt excitement for a very long time. And we haven't felt really true, pure driving excitement outside of connecting with our counterpart. Right? Our counterpart reminds us that that exists and it's possible. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. I want to see what else we have. Look at that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. This is so wild. Okay. We have a choice. We can be defensive and we can fight our way, or we can be like, yippee. That's literally exactly how it came through. I get it. How cuckoo that sounds, but that's exactly how it translated for me. We can be like fighting for stuff, or we can just be like, yay, let's do this. Woo! Like that's, I can hear her. Just say, I don't care how crazy that sounds. I'm just saying, okay? It's just like, we have a choice. We always have a choice, and there's no wrong choice. All right. There's no wrong choice. Maybe you need to stay in this energy. All right. To understand it or to do whatever it needs to do for you. But we always have a choice. We can face things with a little bit of reckless abandon and complete trust, or we can take the harder road. And sometimes you need to take the harder road, right? Sometimes that brings you comfort because that's all you've ever known. But it's very clear that we're being pushed into this place of like, okay, I'm wounded, I'm done, I'm persevered, I've worked so hard for this. When do I get to enjoy or reap my rewards? Well, you can choose to reap your rewards at any time. Yeah. All right. Friggin' love that. I'm going to keep her up there because I want to be her when I grow up. All right. What do we got? Ooh, yeah. So we have a family energy. This is like arguably the happiest card in the deck. Happiest when sailing away. Yeah. Look at that. The Tower in reverse. Okay. 10 of Swords. 5. Okay. Very interesting energy over here to here. So here we have an energy of just surrendering to your patience and knowing that everything's guided. Everything's guided to it. And I feel like there's going to be patience needed with family members. Okay, there's some family members that aren't awake, but I also feel like some of the impatience comes from family, from learning certain beliefs from family, right? Like fearing the worst case scenario, letting your ego make your decisions, staying in constant conflict between your head and your heart, because conflict is all you've maybe ever known. Okay, so this is a very different energy. But if you're patient and you constantly seek out your happiness and what makes you happy, you're going to sail away from that drama, and you're going to realize this new normal for you, this new normal, this new state of peace and acceptance is so much more engaging. Like it's just, I feel like the collective is done with this crap over here. We're just done. We're done. Because the Tower isn't anything to be feared. If the Tower shows up for you, it only feels awful when your ego wants to fight it, right? Because your ego's thinking that it knows better than the universe, or it knows more. And I get like that, frig. I get like that all the time. I got some real solid friends that are beautiful, and I love them because I can totally lose my ego can totally show up and they'll still love me. But it's just understanding that we're shifting out of this need. We can just embrace the Tower. Okay, it's coming. I know it's here. And I know it's here because I asked for help and I'm struggling, and it's going to show me where I'm struggling so that I can sail into happiness and I can be okay with being patient. Because this guy, and it's interesting because this isn't even the 7 of Coins, but it keeps saying patience to me. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this guy is so happy with the little intricacies of what he's doing, of what he's refining, of what he's discovering, of what he's playing with, that he doesn't need to worry about timing. He doesn't need to worry about what ifs. That he's just is. He's in his own little world. So here we are creating our own little worlds. All right. And I'm going to tell you, like, I know that I often speak to the divine feminines, but this is also serving the masculines are in the same place, right? They're completely in the same place. They're just, okay, I need to be happy. I need to do what I need to do to be happy. And I'm done with this. Right? I'm not sure they're at a place where I shouldn't say that. Okay, sorry. I just got my hand slapped by spirit, but because they're in a place too where they're like, they know it's almost, there's this very compartmentalized understanding of what's happening in their lives around the Tower moments that are happening. It's like, it feels awful, but they're like, whoa, it's showing me, okay. It's very like data oriented, like action reaction. Like, okay, this is happening, but this is coming out of it. this is happening, but this is coming out of it. And this feels awful, but I'm really loving this. It's very interesting, right? So, okay, we have the base chakra and manifest. Not surprising that these two are together, because we have your stability. We have your, we do have family stuff, but this is abundance. Like, what are you manifesting for yourself? We have 2 1s. So this is about self. All right. This isn't about couples. This isn't about this is about human self. Okay. So what are you doing to create your stability, to create your abundance, to create feeling solid and anchored and just being at peace with where you are? Because it's you that creates that energy. It's no one else. It's nothing else. It's you that does it. It's you that sets the stage for that. It's almost like you need to set up a platform to allow your riches or whatever, whether it's health, wealth, whatever, right? It's not just money, but you almost need to create a platform for it to sit on, right? And so really feel into that. What are you doing to create your own stability? And it doesn't mean going out and getting 10 jobs and making a ton of money. This is about, what are you doing to anchor yourself? What are you doing to sit in your power? What are you doing to allow the manifestations to be received? Okay, yeah, look at that. Breathe into it. Look at that, right? This is your soul self, your higher self, doing the work, bringing love into your life, bringing love into for yourself. Very interesting. Okay, so we have detach and just simply love. When we can detach from all of the what ifs, the details, and I understand there's physical stuff. Okay, so I'm going to share. Look at this, success and growth when you flow, right? And then we have an amalgamation. We have connecting and coming through, right? So breathe, just breathe. Right? It's a transitionary period because you're learning to bring more love in. I keep seeing love, and of course that came up, right? Detaching from the details and simply loving. So I'm going to share this part because I'm very candid about where I'm at with my journey, especially with my business. I'm going to do a video on it probably tomorrow morning, just explaining kind of what came to me when I sat in my own energy. But I'm detaching from what I think needs to be shared, and I'm simply loving what I'm sharing. I'm continuing with this weekly collective reading because I love connecting to the collective, and I love sharing what Spirit wants to share. I love that. I love how it feels that when I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you guys, I love how that feels. And I'm simply just loving it. I'm not detailing it. I'm not overthinking it. I'm not overanalyzing it. I'm still working a bit on worrying about how I articulate things. You'll notice when I stutter, I'm trying to say it in a certain way that I think it needs to be received, and I'm working on that. It's a work in progress, but I still love it, right? So I'm detaching, and it's allowing me to be in flow and receive that success and growth. It's allowing me to balance. So if you guys are finding yourselves a little unbalanced, or you're sort of in this funk with things, right, and you're having a bit of a harder time flowing, simply love. Remind yourself to just simply love. If you can come back to love in a very simple form, it takes away all of those other things that we're kind of attached to that keep us in that cycle of drama. Drama is from the trauma. I believe Phil Goodlife, I love that guy. I believe Phil Goodlife talks about it. So this is my new deck, Reflective Love. They're a little bit harder, but I just want to pull a couple of those and talk about them. Yes, because that's huge, right? So it doesn't matter if you are the Divine Masculine or the Divine Feminine and you're watching, okay? We're mirrored. Whatever the Divine Feminine is dealing with, so is the Divine Masculine, and vice versa. They may be different scenarios, okay? They might be different people, different relationships, same lessons, what have you. So we have trust. And trust was actually the first card that I created for this deck because we struggle with trust, especially if there's been any kind of betrayal trauma, whether it's from your counterpart or not. Any kind of betrayal trauma, it causes a huge distrust of everything, right? But this is more about, do you trust your divine counterpart, right? So do you trust yourself with your divine counterpart? Do you trust your divine counterpart to have your 6? Do you have your 6, right? So anytime, and here's the more important part about this. Anytime you're feeling a certain thing about your divine counterpart, okay, ask yourself how you feel about yourself in regards to that. Because it's going to show up. If you don't trust your divine counterpart, you may not trust yourself with your divine counterpart, okay? If you're angry with your divine counterpart, chances are you're angry with yourself somewhere. The anger has been developed within yourself somewhere outside of your divine counterpart, right? But you could be angry with yourself. And I'll give an example of this. You know, I get frustrated. I'm like, my divine masculine stuck. I go into these ego moments, okay? I am not, I'm just like everybody else on this journey. And it's interesting because that's one of the things that those of us who are guides fear, because there's this old templated belief around, you know, if we're helping other people, well, we need to have all of our, stuff together. And that's just BS. So I'm just going to be candid from here on out and tell you guys all the little things that happen to me so that maybe you don't feel alone. And maybe you feel like, you can be anywhere along this journey and whatever. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But, so I'll be like, I'm like angry at my divine masculine because he's still doing whatever he's doing. But then the truth is that I'm angry at myself because I'm still doing whatever I'm doing, he's still with his karmic or doing whatever. And there's lots of stuff around that. It's not like I'm not aware that he's in the situation he's in and why he's in that situation. It's not that, it's the ego, right? The ego comes up because my little child self is not getting what she wants. And I love her to death. She's feisty like me, but like 10 times more so sometimes. But anyways, the point is that here I am living with my parents and I'm not really, even though I'm working and I'm doing this stuff, I'm not really out on my own. So deep down, I'm actually angry with myself. I'm angry with myself for not being where I want to be. So I project it onto him. But then I come back and like, okay, it's not him. He's not doing anything wrong. He's doing whatever he needs to do for his path. What is it about me, right? So just be mindful of that, guys. That's a really important part. If you can kind of, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. If you can kind of master that though and be aware of it when it's happening, it'll just help tenfold. I'm just saying. And then balance. Yeah. So what are you doing to bring balance into your life? Right. And this was also a huge lesson for me. And I feel like there's a lot of us in the collective that will go on burnout because we fixate and we focus, but we need to create balance. We need to play. We need to have fun. We need to rest. We need to do some work. We need to do physical stuff, right? We need to socialize. We need to hermit. We need to do all of those things, but in moderation and in balance. And there's no secret code or rhythm to that. It's unless it's, I shouldn't say that. It's your special rhythm. It's your special code. Okay. So what I mean by that is you're being guided to come back to the present moment. You're being guided to come back to being like, what do I need in this moment? That's your secret code. That's your secret rhythm. It's not, okay, I'm going to wake up at 7 a.m. and I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes. And unless that's your secret code, I'm not I'm just saying one size is not going to fit all. I'm going to get in a 30-minute workout at 8 a.m. Then I'm going to have breakfast. And then it's not about everybody doing the exact same thing. Not everything's going to work for every single person. So for those of you that are struggling with finding balance, trying to live in someone else's curriculum, that's where this is coming from. So find balance for yourself. What does that look like? Does it mean that one day, you're feeling like you just need to lay in bed and watch Netflix all day? That's your balance. Perhaps the last 3 days, you've done nothing but purge or help somebody or, give everything you have to something outside of yourself, and you need to recoup that time, right? Understanding yourself and your own energy is going to pay you dividends. So I hope that this helps, guys. Yeah, that's That's where we're going to go with that. Be your peace, love yourself, share your light, and have an amazing week.